Oh man, this weekend started off like any other family adventure, the kind that gets everyone excited. The sun was bright, the air felt alive, and we were ready for a day outdoors. But the second our boots hit the dirt, that excitement, gone. In its place, pure shock and anger. The land was torn apart, claw marks, hoof prints, deep ruts everywhere, the brutal tracks of wild boars, fresh ones, scattered across every inch of our property. In that instant we knew, this wasn't just damage, it was war. Without wasting a second, I called the team. The whole family raced back to the village. Within minutes, an emergency meeting was underway. The brothers gathered, faces set, eyes sharp. It had been years since we'd gone on a real hunt, but those instincts, the ones buried deep, came roaring back to life. The thrill, the danger, it was like flipping a switch inside all of us. We didn't talk much. We didn't need to. Guns, ammo, trackers, dogs, all ready. The mission was clear. Hunt down every single wild boar that dared cross into our land. And so the hunt began. The GPS signaled movement deep in the sparse forest, a perfect feeding ground. We moved fast and quiet. My boots pressed against the soft soil, the forest whispered around us. Then, movement. A shadow darted between the trees. My heart locked on it instantly. Suddenly, a thunderous charge. The boar came at us like a bullet. No time to think, just pure instinct. My pulse spiked. I raised my rifle, aimed, and fired. One clean shot. Down it went. The silence that followed. Electric. One down, many to go. But before we could even catch our breath, the GPS blinked wildly. Multiple signals now, moving fast. This wasn't over. We unleashed the dogs, their deep barks cutting through the trees. The plan was simple: drive the herd into a corner and finish the job. A rustle, then chaos. The herd scattered. I took aim again. Boom. Another one down. The sound echoed through the forest, like thunder. The dogs lunged forward, relentless, refusing to let a single beast escape. Every second felt like a heartbeat away from danger. We spread out. The forest turned into a battlefield. Hunters versus wild beasts. I saw one break from the pack. Quick reflexes, perfect aim, and the trigger pull that ended it. Clean, efficient. But this wasn't over. We pushed deeper, tracking another signal through the thick brush. The heat was rising. The air heavy with tension. Then, a shadow emerged. My hands steadied, my breathing slowed. In one smooth motion, I fired. The bullet sliced through the air and struck true. The beast dropped instantly. No rest, no hesitation, just focus. Every boar we took down felt like one step closer to restoring peace. But the herd was massive. We pressed on, knowing if we let even one slip, it could return to destroy everything again. The sun scorched overhead. Sweat rolled down my face. Fatigue was creeping in, but giving up wasn't an option. A sudden alert, more signals. We sprinted to the next position. The range was long, tough for accuracy. One mistake, and they'd vanish into the wild. But that's not what we do. I steadied the scope, whispered a prayer, and pulled. Another burst of fire, another down. The dogs howled. They were on the scent again. I followed their lead. A wounded boar thrashed in the brush, snarling. I raised my rifle and ended its suffering swiftly. Another one gone, another victory. But where was the rest of the herd? We scanned the terrain, compasses out, eyes sharp. Then it hit us. The cane fields. They were heading there, and if they reached it, the damage would be catastrophic. We raced through the fields, positioning ourselves for an ambush. My hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from adrenaline. Then through the tall cane, I saw it, that familiar dark silhouette. I didn't blink. I aimed, pulled the trigger. A volley of bullets struck, The boar dropped before it even hit cover. For a moment everything went quiet. Relief washed over me. If that one had made it to the fields, we'd have lost everything by nightfall. As dusk fell, the sky bled into orange. We moved along the cane's edge, alert, watching for one last movement. And then there it was, another one. It came out fast, teeth bared, eyes wild, one clean shot, and down it went. My pulse steadied, perfect aim, perfect aim. But before we could even celebrate, another boar burst out from the cane. Reflex took over. Bang, it dropped instantly. The precision, that's years of training, instinct and discipline all coming together in one breath. The day's hunt was finally done. The rampage was over. For now, our land was safe. Peace restored. Days passed. The traps we'd set, completely useless. These beasts were smart, cunning. They avoided every single one. By then they had already destroyed over 5 acres of farmland. Nearly $30 million in losses. That's when we knew. This wasn't just a hunt anymore. It was war. We changed tactics. No more waiting. We were taking the fight to them. We armed up again. Rifles, drones, trackers. This time the battleground was the sugarcane fields of southern Spain. Tall, dense, perfect cover for wild boars, but also the perfect trap for us to turn their strength against them. We moved silently through the groves, every step calculated, every sound amplified. Then out of nowhere, crash, a massive boar burst out of the cane. But this wasn't my first dance. Reflex took over. I raised my rifle, fired, and it was over in seconds. Years of training, that's what kept me calm, steady, lethal. The tracker buzzed again, rapid beeping. My heart raced. That meant more were close. I gripped my rifle tighter, a rustle, then movement. The moment the boar appeared, I fired. The shot echoed across the fields. Perfect. Another one down. The thrill, unmatched. It's not just the hunt, it's the precision, the strategy, the split-second decisions that make the difference between victory and chaos. At the field's edge, the team was already waiting in ambush. Just as predicted, another one emerged. One booming shot later, and it dropped like a stone. 150 kilos. A monster of a boar. The whole team cheered. That's what teamwork looks like. But we weren't done yet. Suddenly the dogs started barking like mad. Louder, more frantic. That could only mean one thing. Another one. I sprinted into the cane, pushing through the thick stalks, pulse hammering. The barking grew louder, and there it was. I didn't hesitate. One shot, clean, down it went. We barely had time to reload when another sound echoed. The radio crackled. Target heading east. I turned, saw the beast barreling through the grass, and took the shot. It didn't stand a chance. Every shot, every move, all of it carved from experience. There's no room for error in this kind of hunt. One hesitation, and it's over.